We're working to connect a region of over 600 new bridges between our lands.
Hello and welcome to ASEAN in Focus. I'm Maricar Velasco delivering to you the latest news in and around the ASEAN region. On today's headlines, the Philippine Congress on Wednesday overwhelmingly voted to extend martial law in Mindanao for the entire 2019. President Rodrigo Duterte received Ambassador-designate of the Kingdom of Cambodia to the Philippines, His Excellency Leng Chanvirak, and Ambassador-designate of the Kingdom of Spain to the Philippines, His Excellency George Moragas Sanchez, for their presentation of credentials at the reception hall of Malacanang Palace on December 12, 2018. And the ASEAN Safe Migration Campaign was launched at the ASEAN Secretariat in Jakarta to raise public awareness on safe labor migration that benefits all. The Philippine Congress on Wednesday overwhelmingly voted to extend martial law in Mindanao for the entire 2019. The Senate and House of Representatives convening in a joint session granted President Duterte's request for the extension of martial law and the suspension of the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus in Mindanao for a period of 1 year from January 1 to December 31, 2019. Congress approved the extension with 235 voting for such, 28 against, and 1 abstaining. Majority Leader Rolando Andaya Jr. said the House believes that the security assessment submitted by the Armed Forces of the Philippines and the Philippine National Police to the President indubitably shows the continuing rebellion in Mindanao, which compels the further extension of martial law. PNP Chief Oscar Abayalde vowed to continue respecting human rights and to continue following the rule of law.
And the suspension of the privilege of the writ of habeas.
Malacanang will investigate allegations of corruption in the 75 billion pesos added in the budget of the Department of Public Works and Highways, which Budget Secretary Benjamin Diokno had admitted to have been responsible for. Panelo said in a palace briefing, since there is an allegation of corruption, it follows that they have to investigate. The palace spokesperson noted that Diokno had already denied that there was any corruption involved in this. However, he said that because there was an allegation of corruption made, then Malacanang will have to investigate. Diokno had earlier admitted that it was the DBM which augmented the DPWH budget. During the question hour at the House of Representatives on Tuesday, December 11, he even corrected earlier cited figures of 51 billion pesos added to the DPWH budget, saying the correct amount was 75 billion pesos. Before this, House Majority Leader Congressman Rolando Andaya Jr. was pointing out that not even DPWH Secretary Mark Villar knew of the additional budget, 51 billion pesos budget given to the DPWH. Andaya said Diokno gave Villar a ceiling of 488 billion pesos, and lo and behold, there is an additional 51 billion pesos which no one now claims. So if Public Works didn't ask for it and DBM submitted that presidential budget to them, then it may only have come from Diokno. Diokno told Rolando during the interpellation they decided to augment another 75 billion pesos, but Rolando cannot call that insertion because it's part of the process. President Rodrigo Duterte received Ambassador-designate of the Kingdom of Cambodia to the Philippines, His Excellency Leng Chanvirak, and Ambassador-designate of the Kingdom of Spain to the Philippines, His Excellency George Moragas Sanchez, for their presentation of credentials at the reception hall of Malacanang Palace on December 12, 2018. In order of the ceremony, the first to present his credentials is Cambodian Ambassador Chanvirak, followed by Spanish Ambassador Sanchez. After a photo opportunity, President Duterte and the two foreign diplomats proceeded to the music room for a tete-a-tete. Before his appointment to Manila, Ambassador Chandirak worked as the General Inspector of the Inspectorate General from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation until 2016. Meanwhile, Ambassador George Moragas Sanchez of the Kingdom of Spain extended a message of friendship from His Majesty King Philip VI, wishing for prosperity and happiness of the Filipino people. He said the relations between Spain and the Philippines are marked by principles of friendship, mutual respect, equality, and also depth. Depth, he says, that because not only have they shared cultural and historical ties, but also today Spain has chosen the Philippines as the center of its historic policy in Asia. He added that in the spirit, Spain is actively cooperating with Philippine institutions and the people of the Philippine government in many fields, such as the cooperation for development and promotion of the Spanish language. They are also working hard to increase the presence of Spanish companies in the Philippines, as they believe in their experience and expertise in the fields of railway construction and tourism. Australia's Foreign Minister Marise Payne visits camps in western Myanmar and meets with Rohingya residents. As Minister for Foreign Affairs, Marise Payne begins her two-day visit to Myanmar, Amnesty International Australia has urged her to step up and show leadership at a meeting with controversial leader Aung San Suu Kyi. Ms. Payne is in the Southeast Asian nation on Wednesday and Thursday and will meet with senior government ministers, including the embattled state councillor. In a statement released on Tuesday, Ms. Payne said Australia is committed to working with Myanmar and regional and other partners towards a long-term and durable solution to the crisis in Rakhine State. In the Tuesday statement, Ms. Payne said Australia has previously raised our serious concerns in relation to the situation in Rakhine State. She says we'll discuss Australia's contribution to supporting the basic needs of the 129,000 internally displaced Rohingya, referring to Rohingya who languish in displacement camps within Myanmar. Since 2017, more than 700,000 Rohingya have fled from Myanmar's Rakhine State over the border into Bangladesh, following horrific reports of widespread murder, rape, and arson at the hands of the Myanmar military. European Union's ambassador to Cambodia, George Edgar, speaks to the press at the 70th anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights at the Institute of Technology, Cambodia. In a report in Voice of America, it said that he has expressed concern over the deterioration of human rights in Cambodia. On the 70th anniversary of the passing of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights on Monday, Edgar said it was no secret that the EU was concerned by the dissolution of the opposition Cambodian National Rescue Party last year and the jailing of its leader Kem Sokha on treason charges. In September 2017, Sokha was arrested on allegations that he had plotted with the United States to overthrow Prime Minister Hun Sen. The CNRP was dissolved the following month by the Supreme Court. He spent the next year in jail before being released into house arrest. Some 118 opposition officials were also banned from politics for 5 years in the same court decision. The government has denied wrongdoing and claims it has only acted to uphold the rule of law in the kingdom. The ruling Cambodian People's Party also oversaw a wider crackdown on opposing voices and independent organizations, including curtailing the rights of civil society groups, activists, and independent media outlets. The moves prompted the United States to impose limited sanctions on senior members of the Hun Sen administration, followed by the EU, which is also considering dropping Cambodia from a preferential trade scheme that experts say could cripple the country's garment sector. On Tuesday, the government released a statement defending its position on human rights. Human rights in Cambodia are guaranteed by law, in which the government is still reforming the judicial system and other related laws to ensure and protect the rights of the people, as well as the effectiveness in law implementation by the authorities.
latest news and information here and abroad. In Aguila, Balita, track the latest happenings in the provinces in Aguila, Provincia. Be aware of important events in Asia, in ASEAN in Focus, and be updated in the biggest news around the world in Eagle News International. Tune into Mata ng Aguila and get the day's headlines and news that are sharp, accurate, and objective. Only here at Net 25.
Malalaman kung legit talaga yung talent manager or yung scout. Hindi po bang yung sinasadya nila na magkaroon ng chismis para sumikat?
Meron pa na po bang mga artista rin na sumasabit sa pila, yung mga nagbibigyahaman sa pera?
Paano pa nila pinipili kung sino yung pupwede sa dinami-dami ng batang nag-a-apply? I need you, I need
Federalismo. Maraming mga bansang mauunlad ang nasa ilalim ng sistemang federalismo gaya ng Switzerland, Germany, United States of America, Canada at Australia. Sa federalismo na kanilang ginagamit, binago nila ang sistema para tumugma sa mga pangangailangan ng kanilang bansa.
Welcome back. The ASEAN Safe Migration Campaign was launched at the ASEAN Secretariat in Jakarta to raise public awareness on safe labor migration that benefits all. More than 120 participants representing governments of ASEAN member states, ASEAN dialogue partners, employers, workers, civil society groups, and media attended the launch. It was hosted by the Ministry of Manpower of Indonesia with support of the ASEAN Secretariat, international labor organizations through its Triangle in ASEAN program and the enhanced EU-ASEAN dialogue instruments. The Deputy Secretary General of ASEAN for ASEAN Socio-Cultural Community, Kung Fox, said ASEAN as a region is commemorating the International Migrants Day on the 18th of December by launching the ASEAN Safe Migration Campaign. The ASEAN Safe Migration Campaign contributes to the implementation of the ASEAN Consensus on the Protection and Promotion of the Rights of Migrant Workers, signed by leaders at the 31st ASEAN Summits in November of 2017. Maruli A. Hasoloan, Director General of Manpower Placement Development and Job Opportunity, Ministry of Manpower of Indonesia, highlighted labor migration in ASEAN has increased annually, and it is estimated that 21.3 million ASEAN citizens live outside their countries, of which 6.8 million people are intra-regional migrants. A large number of ASEAN migrant workers work in the domestic sector, being vulnerable to suffer from labor and non-labor cases and highly need protection. It is very important to have commitments at regional level to providing protection to ASEAN migrant workers as well as promoting their rights.
Creating a safe migration path when they signed the Cebu Declaration.
Indonesia's top e-commerce site, Tokopedia, said Wednesday it has raised $1.1 billion in funding from investors including Japanese tech giant SoftBank and Chinese online store Alibaba. The latest financing round for Tokopedia, which lets users to set up online shops and handles transactions, underscores a push by foreign firms to tap the Southeast Asian nation's soaring online market. Major investors, also including Expedia and China's Tencent, have been pumping billions of dollars into Indonesia's tech startups to capitalize on a burgeoning digital economy. Tokopedia, which was set almost a decade ago, said it would continue its focus on the market in Indonesia, a sprawling country of some 260 million people with a swelling middle class. The company expects to use the funds to build technology and infrastructure that empowers millions of local businesses to grow. Internet use is growing faster in Southeast Asia than any other region in the world, according to research by Google and Singapore's sovereign wealth fund Temasek. By 2020, an estimated 480 million people are expected to be connected to the Internet, up from 260 million in the region in 2016, according to the report. Malaysian national car maker Proton launched its first ever sports utility vehicle, or SUV, a year after nearly half of its company's stake was bought up by Chinese auto giant Geely. The Proton X70 is the first model to roll out of the Malaysian company's assembly line's collaboration after Geely became a significant minority shareholder in Proton, taking a 49.9% stake in the company last year. A 50.1% stake in the company is still owned by Malaysian conglomerate DRB Hycon. Boasting voice interaction system and advanced vehicular controls, the X70 will be sold in Malaysia upwards of 99,800 ringgit or $23,815. Proton was formed in 1983 under the watchful eyes of the country's then Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad as part of an ambitious national industrial plan, but has suffered from a reputation for unimaginative models. Soon after winning a decisive key election in May, Mahathir, who assumed the Southeast Asian nation's premiership again, floated the idea of a new national car project amid such criticism.
And since then, we have seen Proton make a recovery, and this recovery is going to be enhanced by the introduction of this latest model of Proton, the Proton X70.
Photographers would like.
Please raise.
All right, once again, to our distinguished guests on stage, can you please.
Federalismo. Ang federalismo ay isang sistema ng gobyerno kung saan ang mga miyembrong nasasakupan ay nakapaloob sa isang kasunduan na pamumunuan ng mga gobernador ang mga estado o probinsya sa isang bansa. Sa sistemang ito ay nabibigyan ng kapangyarihan ng isang estado na maging malaya at makapagdesisyon sa sariling nasasakupan. Dahil dito, ang mga estado ay maaaring magpatupad ng kanilang sariling mga batas.
Welcome back. President Rodrigo Duterte will attend the official turnover of the Balangiga bells in Eastern Samar on Saturday after all. This was according to presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo after the president himself made changes in his schedule due to the persistent requests from the people of Eastern Samar, who look forward to him personally bringing the bells to Balangiga. Earlier, Panelo said pressing matters of governance would keep Duterte from attending the official turnover in the town, which was to take place 4 days after they arrived at the Villamor Air Base in Pasay. The president was also unable to attend the turnover ceremonies of the bells in the airbase, with Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana attending in his stead. The 3 bells were taken by American soldiers in 1901 during the Filipino-American War as war loot. 2 of them had been housed in a military airbase in Wyoming, the United States, while another was in a military facility in South Korea before they were transported to the Philippines. For today, we would like to greet one of the best anchors here at Net 25, Miss Judith Lemera, a very happy birthday. And that is the latest news in the Southeast Asian nations. Stay updated about the ASEAN region. I'm Maricar Velasco and I am 1 with 25.